today I'm going to show you how to make queso. A lot of times I buy shredded cheese, but it's actually cheaper to buy block cheese and shred it yourself, and it's a little more fresh maybe because then you're, keeping it fresh on the inside until you're ready to use it. And so, and it doesn't take very long. You just want to be very careful with your fingers because you don't want to either lose part of your finger or cut your finger badly.
So, where can you find this?
Kind of cheese?
No, where can you find this thing?
Oh, it's called a grater, and I leave it underneath the countertop.
Which one?
To the left of the stove, and it's in this little tray or shelf that's on the top there. And so you can see it's good too because it gives you a little bit of a workout. I'm really using my core as I grate up and down, and you can hear me getting out of breath a little bit too.
So is it sharper than a knife?
It is as sharp as a knife, and so you just want to be careful as your fingers get closer. Some people will wear gloves to try to protect themselves.
How will that protect them though? They're like...
well, because it'll cut the glove first and you'll sort of notice. And then at the very least, if it does cut through the glove and it cut your finger, then you don't...
let's say, like, what type of glove, let's say?
Heavy rubber glove, not like winter mittens.
So, I thought you meant like the plastic ones. And I was
like, not the kinds that just protect your...
I was like, what's that gonna do?
Yeah, that will maybe very marginally help, but not really. Okay, so you can see that I've gotten this block of cheese down to a little piece here that I'm probably close to done because I'm running out of breath and I'm also getting close to my fingertips. So sometimes they have these things that you hook onto the piece of cheese or to the carrot or whatever it is that you are grating to also protect your fingers so they never come close to the blades. You can see that there we have a bunch of grated cheese. Yeah. Then once I'm down to this little piece like this, yeah, it just sort of falls apart there. And since I'm going to be using it to make a queso, which I'm going to heat up and melt anyway, it's fine. I might come over here a second and I'll show you on the cutting board here. I'll just cut it up into like smaller pieces so that it'll melt better, but that's close enough. So go ahead and turn the heat up to close to high, just so you want to heat up the stove. We'll turn it down a little bit, but this is just on high to get the butter melting. Once the butter is pretty melted, I shut it down to low heat, and then I'll throw in some flour to make a roux. So you want to put the flour in, and as you're putting it in, you want to keep stirring so it doesn't burn. And what the roux is just the sticky roux, I don't know what else to call it, that comes about from putting together butter and flour. Thank you. And then once you've got the roux, make sure that all the flour is nicely blended and consistently in the roux. Then what you're going to do is pour some milk into the roux. Once the mixture of milk and roux is pretty warm, but before it boils, then you'll put your cheese in. So there goes my cheese. Once you put it in, you want to make sure to continuously stir it. Otherwise it may clump and it may burn. If you have a silicone spatula, I like using those. I didn't have a clean one right now, so I'm using a wooden one, as you can tell. Just keep stirring until your cheese is all melted and it's a nice consistent queso.